Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. And I got another one from the 2024 pack Case B that Waffles had sent me earlier in the year. And this is a menu that definitely intrigued me, so I figured I'll go ahead and pull it out tonight. I'm bringing the stream up on my tablet so I can read the chat. It's just much easier that way since I have my phone mounted above my tray. There we go. I had to clear 3 ads. So I'm going to cut this from the back. That way it won't be such a hot mess. First out is a cran raspberry full length for strike bar. This is the best of the 4 flavors. Next is a chocolate hazelnut protein drink. And all the powder has been pushed up to the top. I'm just going to set that on top of the drinking jar. Then this is the sleeve that has the ingredients and the nutritional information for the main. Next out is the honey mustard and onion pretzels. That is a new one. I have not had that before. Got peanut butter. And here are the plain crackers. Oh, and this one has coffee in it, so I don't need my backup plan. So I will put those aside. That is a full accessory pack. This is one of the few menus that does have coffee. There's the spoon, and I do not use these in the reviews. I save these. They become part of my stash of emergency use disposable utensils. Flameless ration heater. Again, I don't use these, but I hold on to them. Then separate from the accessory packet is a picante seasoning. They included a beverage bag for mixing the coffee in, but obviously I'm not going to be doing that because I have my delicious mug. And the last thing out of the bag is the entree itself. So inside the accessory packet, we got Bill's Brew, got the non-dairy creamer, the Splenda, which I do not use, but I save those for someone who does. Got real sugar, got the wet wipe, got the super tiny salt packets. Probably need 3 of these to jumpstart an older FRH. Then the peppermint gum and the rear roll. So that is a freeze-dried coffee. Drop the sugar packet. There was some misunderstanding or confusion about Enjoy. This is a brand that you will not find in a regular grocery store. You either get this from a food service company such as Cisco or Aramark or any of the others, or you can go into Sam's Club and buy the canisters that are about a little bit wider than the width of this mug. Those are geared towards like coffee stands, and things of that nature, like you might find in an office setting. But anyone with a Sam's Club membership can go in there and buy those. So there is the creamer in on top of the sugar in the coffee. Normally I do not mix the drinks in the pouch because I'm here at home, but when I do a shake, I do. And in the beginning I will short the water for the first shake. That way I have more room in the bag to actually mix it. Then I'll open it up and add the rest of the water. That just seems to work the best for me. And then I just leave it in the pouch and let that sit for a while before I pour it into the drinking jar. Now I'm going to go put this in the water, and then I will come back with the kettle for my coffee. I also took that 3-in-1 coffee back into the kitchen as well. When I was looking at those, I had 2 of them in my Delicious mug because they only call for 175 mils of water, which is definitely less than an 8-ounce cup. It's more like between 5 and 6 ounce, so that's why I had 2 of them. These honey mustard and onion pretzels feels like ones that you might get from like a Gardetto's or something like that. instead of tearing this one from the side, I just cut across it like that. You don't get very many of them in there. Let's see, now I'm going to see who's all in the chat. We got spicy tuna rolls, we got waffles, Mike Kreischer in the house, Tim Riley is here. And so far, that is all I see so far. Well, that didn't open very well. I just love the smell of that. And I like the taste of it. When I cut this bag, I'm able to put all my trash inside here. Cover for the ages has come in. And this is 2024 pack, menu 14. Gonna put the crackers up to my phone, see if you can get a hiss out of it. I don't know if you're able to hear that or not, but I got it open. A little bit of breakage. Yeah, a lot of breakage. But that's okay, that's the way it goes. There's really not a whole lot to this menu for some reason. I'm going to give the peanut butter a bit of a knead before I open it. Yeah, Mondays seem to be a problem. And when I got my little scissors out, I'm just going to go ahead and cut a corner off of this. And I'll just leave that off to the side. What I'll probably end up doing is putting some of the cracker in with the main. We'll just have to see how that goes. I just gave my protein drink another shake. I'm going to put the whole top end of the bag into the jar. I think there's still a fair amount in there. I just pour another dribble of water into the bag. Just kind of get the last of it out of there. I'll call that good. There's a good delay. I just looked at my screen and it shows I'm just now giving the bag its last shake. Before I dumped it into the drinking jar. Now that that is out, I'm going to go back into the kitchen and get my entree. I am back. Got the entree, paper towel to dry it off. turn notch goes across this way, so I shake it, make sure all the food is down below it. Oh, that wasn't a good rip. Well, that one didn't open up at all. There we go. Now let's see what this looks like. Pretty thick. So I'm going to turn that way. That's as good as that's going to get. That smells good. I can actually smell the cumin in there. See, black beans, kidney beans, there's rice. See, there's corn in there. I think those are the only two beans. Oh, actually, there may be pinto beans in here. There may be 3 different beans in here. Time to give this a first taste. There's a bit of a chili seasoning in here. No doubt there's that. Actually, I'm going to check the ingredients, see if, but I'm guessing it has a TVP in there. Has green chilies in it. Got tomato. Does have onion and garlic, which is good. Green bell pepper, that's in there. And red bell pepper. I didn't see any TVP in the ingredients list. There's the Carlos Perry in the house. You're looking at 2024 pack menu 14. So I guess that wouldn't surprise me why they would add the protein shake in order to bring up the amount of protein in this menu with no meat or TVP in there. But the flavor in this is actually not bad. The rice is extremely soft. You can barely see the bits of bell pepper in there, but they are in there. But I do like the flavor. The beans are soft, but they're not mush. So there you can see a piece of the green bell pepper. It would be nice if they would put tortillas in here. Burger Button in the house. Thanks for dropping in. That's okay. I've only just taken a few bites of the Mexican rice and bean bowl, and it's not bad. I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm going to put some of this on a piece of cracker. The cracker does add a bit of crunch, but obviously doesn't do anything for the flavor. But it's still one way to eat it. But because this is thick enough, you could easily put this on a tortilla, fold that up, and have yourself a burrito. Now these honey mustard pretzels are kind of an odd thing to add to this menu, but I really like these. First time I've had them out of a ration though. I don't get as much of the honey flavor as I would like, but those are still very good. Too bad you don't get more of them than just these few. I'm giving my shake a bit of a stir just to make sure it is well mixed. That's an okay drink. It does what it's supposed to do. Add some protein to the meal. But a regular drink powder would have been nice too. We used to have a Ponderosa here in Des Moines, but I have not heard or seen any advertising for them for years. We used to have a whole lot more steakhouses, but that's just one place I don't go to these days. That was one of the places that I remember going to as a kid. When we lived outside of Des Moines, that would have been one of the places that we would go to while we were in town. We had several that we would hit, and occasionally we would hit a steakhouse. Yeah, that would be as I thought, that it was most likely gone. Well, at least there's something over there. There's some places in the middle of the city that are going belly up. One that was only open 10 years is closing. And I've heard, or I've seen stuff about other restaurant and store chains also closing up a number of locations. I just had another bite on a piece of cracker. But this is probably better just on its own. I was expecting this to be a little bit thinner, and I was going to be breaking up the cracker to put inside it and mix it in, but I will need to do that. But this is definitely burrito thick. And I like it when some of these things are not so runny. We used to hit a lot of the buffet restaurants when I was a kid too. We had our favorites among those places. By the way, that coffee that I was going to have was from that Nescafe 3-in-1 that I picked up at Hillel Groceries. That's why you saw Arabic on the label. But I will use that next time I open up one of these that doesn't have coffee. And who knows, it may be the next MRE that I open up that doesn't have coffee in it. What some people do with these shakes is they will put the coffee right into the shake mix and mix it up that way. I've never done that. And they may either mix it hot or cold. Although I think a hot mix would probably be easier. I think the lemon lime drink mix, you get that little bit of lime going on. I would have enjoyed that. But this is definitely a unique combination of items to put together to make a meal out of. These crackers break so easily. That's okay, it happens. I don't think you were out that long. Although I'm not sure what you mean by what is still antiquated. That is kind of funny. That is one thing I never ate when I was in Mexico back in '86. I went that whole month without eating any peanut butter. It is just not a staple in your average Mexican home. In fact, I didn't really eat any jam or jelly while I was down there. I think if you got maybe even 5 more of these, would have been good. I ate tortillas nearly with every meal, but they're usually served plain, and you would either put food on them. See, like if I had something like this, put that on a tortilla, or I would dip it, or just eat it like, eating a plain piece of bread. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for the cheese spread, or even better yet, the cheese spread with jalapeno. And if it had the chipotle tortillas in there, now that would be super good. I would definitely enjoy that. So Sapaco kind of dropped a ball on that one. I think they could have done better with their side choices. So this menu 14, at least in the 2024 lineup, this one does have the coffee. I did not have to go to my plan B. I would love to see the chipotle tortillas being put in this one as standard or in any of the other Southwest beef with black beans. I think that would be a good choice. Put the chipotle tortillas in there. And some of the other, like the chicken burrito bowl. I would love to see the chipotle tortillas in that one. And I would love to see a change in these crackers. But I seriously doubt that's going to happen. These just break too easily. LJ needs to be sitting there giving him a knock on the noggin to wake Dad up. Either that or he just needs to go to bed. Maybe he'll just go to bed and watch the replay at a later time. Then again, he could be getting himself a cup of coffee. I'm pretty sure all she is fine. She just may have family stuff. Then again, she could have some not so nice weather in her little piece of Canada. You know, she always goes to hang out with her dad. Or at least most Sundays she does that. Or she could have internet issues. But she'll probably put something up in the messenger chat when she gets a chance. I'm going to go ahead and take a bite of this, which is basically Sapaco's idea of dessert for this one. On this particular bar, the cranberry and raspberry flavors are about equal. But I can smell the cranberry more. But again, this is the best of the four flavors of these First Strike bars. I haven't had any of the new versions yet that are not called First Strike. I have one, but I have not opened it up yet. And I'm looking forward to trying it. Too much on there. I'll knock some of that off. I did not open this picante seasoning because I just wanted to eat it all by itself. But I'm going to hold this up close. That is the ingredients. So I have a few of these. I have the hot sauce powder. And I want to do a comparison between the two. But I haven't figured out what I'm going to use as the base to put it on. Yeah, I'm just shoving these cracker crumbs in there. What the heck? It would have to be something that is just a basic flavor. But I'm still figuring that one out, how I'm going to do that. But speaking of comparisons, Germ's MRE did what I did, I think a couple of years ago. I did a comparison between Vegemite and Marmite, and I had gotten both of those on Amazon. But the Marmite that I had was produced in England. He got a hold of a Marmite that is produced in New Zealand. That one has a red cap, whereas the British Marmite has a yellow cap. So he did a comparison between those three, and he actually did it as a blind taste test with the help of his wife, who put a little bit in of each in some tiny bowls, and then he made up little grilled cheese sandwiches, and then at the end she revealed the one that he liked the best, and then the second best. But you'll have to watch that video to figure out which one of those three versions of the yeast extracts that he liked the best. I thought that was very cool. She hasn't showed up in the messenger chat, but I'm pretty sure she has life stuff to deal with. I know she was supposed to send a package to somebody here in the States, but I don't remember who that was supposed to be. So she may have already gotten that done, but going from Canada to here in the US is a postal nightmare. And you have to be so careful these days what you send to another country. I'm giving this a swirl. Got some more of these to chow down on. One thing I could do is I could fry up a couple eggs. Don't season them at all. And then put this on one and the hot sauce powder on the other. That would be one way of doing it. It looks like that little thing that Dave did was just an oops. Probably accidentally bonked his keyboard or tapped something on phone or tablet screen, whatever he's watching on. Now, I have not gotten hold of a C-car. Now that I've seen a few of them, I am intrigued. The chocolate and mocha energy gels have definitely got my curiosity going. They look as funky as the fruit flavored energy gels, but apparently the chocolate one is decent. The mocha one, according to a couple of the guys who have reviewed those, say that one is a little weird. But I'm definitely curious about those C-cars. They're definitely more compact than your standard for Strike Ration. They don't have as many items in it. It's basically a bag full of what some of them call it pocket food. Where you just eat the items on the run and not take the time to actually sit somewhere and pull out items to make a full meal. Paul of Paul's Gear Reviews, he liked the chocolate over the mocha as far as those energy gels. So he opened up one of the 3 C-cars he's got. Actually, the other 2 are on the way. He hasn't received the other 2 yet. But apparently there are only 3 menus. So if you buy a case of them, you get duplicates. So maybe as time goes on, the ration packers will put together additional menus so that there's more of a variety. Now, cookies and cream, I wonder if that's supposed to be thick like a shake? I guess there's only one way to find out. So I will keep a lookout online for the C cars. And when I get the opportunity to buy one, I will. Yeah, it looked almost like a syrup. Yeah, when Paul had it on his tray, he was dipping his spoon in it, and it looked a lot like a chocolate syrup. Usually those energy gels have a liquidy part and then more jello-like parts in it, and they really don't mix. So definitely curious about that. Sorry, these things are a bit dry, but I like them. See, Ration Nerd has also reviewed a C car. I think he got I don't know if he got a prototype or an actual production version. I think Steve 1989 had a prototype that somehow he got a hold of. I could imagine that on really heavy activity days, a soldier issued a C car would probably get one of the more packs. A C car has a lower calorie total than the FSR. So maybe they're not designed for heavy activity days, but I can still imagine a soldier in the field getting issued a more pack in order to provide additional calories. You get snacks in there, you get maybe an energy gel in some, and you get a drink powder in there. There's the hot weather version and a cold weather version. Yeah, I mean, when you look at, you break down breakfast, you really don't have much when it comes to a breakfast item. You get a couple of bars. One might be like this, one might be more like your basic granola bar. In fact, one of them, the one that Paul opened up, his had a kind of bar wrapped in this kind of a wrapping. So the company just grabbed probably a pallet of kind bars, put them inside this type of wrapping, leaving their factory wrapping on it, and just put those into the ration bag. I suppose that's one way they're cutting corners, is just by acquiring what other companies would normally sell in the retail market. Now, on seriously heavy activity days, a soldier would probably take a first strike and maybe one or two mores out. There's a lot left in my drinking jar, so what I do with these shakes is I just go ahead and add a little water to it. Give that a good swirl. Gets most of it out. plus it'll be quicker to wash. I still have some peanut butter left in the packet, so I just suck all that down, call it good. No, Smokey said he was not going to be live last night. I think, he's been having some life stuff as well. He might be dealing with estate settling. He's got one dog that has been either dog or cat with some health issues, or he's been dealing with other life stuff. He has had to put off his building project because of all of this. But I think that was the last I seen that he put up on a community post. But everybody's been having this stuff called life happening. Yeah, others have had issues with their vehicles acting up or not running right, not being able to get them fixed. And if they don't have another one to fall back on, they gotta rely on someone else. You either get an Uber or Lyft. Yeah, Stella, that was a dog that was the latest one of his fur kids to cross the Rainbow Bridge. But he still has some cats. And Stella was a pretty old dog. So she was with him quite some time. Yeah, he's got He's got his coon clan. But I'm sure when he's ready, he'll toss a post up at least. We keep him in our thoughts and hope that things work out the way they're meant to. I don't know if it's something on my end that's messed up, but I'm showing 0 likes on my screen. I don't know if it's just not showing right for me, but I normally don't look at that when I saw 0. That's kind of odd. So that just could be another one of those system burps that occasionally crops up. There are a lot of other YouTubers I would love to see new stuff from. But life just gets in the way. RC Gusto or Gusto. He hasn't put up anything for quite some time. I don't know if he is still at his day job working as a doctor. And he just did YouTube on the side. Haven't seen anything from some of the others. Like Kiwi Dude was putting up some for a while, but he hasn't put up anything for some time. Of course, Steve 1989 put up a couple of videos earlier this month, which are pretty interesting ones. As far as the rations that he chose to review, those are pretty neat to look at. Yeah, the notification thing is messed up bad. On my tablet, I'll be scrolling through the notifications. They'll repeat themselves. it'll show me like 10 or 15, and then it'll show those same 10 or 15 again. One time it showed me those a third time in a row before it showed me some other ones. Yeah, that is so messed up the way that's not working right. Yeah, you could have all notifications selected, but you're not getting them. Or you might get one delayed. That has happened before where you'll get a notification of someone going live a day late. I haven't seen that happen in a while, but I have seen that happen. Of course, I've seen emails for live things come up a day late. I got a Zoom meeting invite a few hours late, so I missed that particular meeting. Then I got another one a day late. Fortunately, I had known about that one in advance, so I was able to get in on that one, but I got the email about a day late. Yeah, it really sucks when these things don't act like the way they're supposed to. And then they wonder why we get frustrated. And their latest known issue that you see when you go into Studio Desktop was your estimated revenue was not showing what it was supposed to be showing. And I guess for some monetized channels, the number that it showed was a huge amount over what it was supposed to be, or a huge amount under what it was supposed to be. But because my numbers are so small, I really didn't notice much. I think mine was maybe a few cents off. You know, my channel's not huge. And at the rate that I'm accumulating, I don't think I'm going to get that second payment before the end of the year. Because my accumulated totals so far, it just crossed like $83 as of early this afternoon. If I had a couple of super chats or super stickers or super things, that would probably be a good kick, but it's not like I'm begging it or anything. Figure when that happens, it happens. I finished off that first strike bar. But it is kind of weird how that works. And I also notice when I look at my dashboard, the view count for the latest video, or the latest 2 or 3, will show one thing, and then when you go into the content and you look at those, you scroll across to the view count, it'll have a different number. And it may take several days for those numbers to finally be the same. I find that kind of odd too. I suppose that could be a question to pose to YouTube about those view count discrepancies. Because I noticed finally today, for my latest short about Pumpkin playing with this, the view count in the dashboard and in the content tab, those numbers finally agree. By the way, this is the Olight Sphere. It's the newer version that replaced the original O bulbs. It's got more capability and you can control it with the Olight app, although in the past I've had issues trying to do that, so I don't even bother. But I'm just showing you what Pumpkin was playing with. And describing the view count discrepancy, which I find quite odd. But those are part of my emergency lighting plan. So because this one's been used a bit, I will eventually charge it back up. Just finished off the coffee. This one was not too bad. Some of the side items I thought were kind of odd to put with the entree, but they're still enjoyable. I think the crackers need an upgrade. They break too easy, even when you're not trying to eat them with some kind of a spread on them. And they need to put back the coffee in more of the menus. Or at least put a cappuccino or a mocha powder in there. And I'm not the only one who says that. I bet soldiers in the field who are using these rations are probably thinking the same thing. Especially in the morning. If they don't put coffee packets in their pockets before they go out, they're probably hitting that military energy gum. Even if they're not normally a gum chewer. By the way, that has a new package design. The flavor is the same, at least the one that Paul's Gear Review, he opened up the C card that had the military energy gum in it. And the package has a new look over what it has in the past. So you check out his video of that C card that he opened up, had the cool mint flavor. Yeah, they changed the look of that packaging. Still has the same number of pieces, still has the same amount of caffeine in each piece, but just the packet looks different. Well, I've eaten everything I planned on eating tonight. Let's see. I think next week I could either pull out one of my 2022s, case A, or I could pull out another one of my halal ones. Even some of the 2022 menus don't have coffee in them. Or I could get out one of those two rations that I got from Sean Hecht. I got my favorite MCW, which is no longer in production, the seafood chowder. And I got a long range patrol. The tan bag one. I could get into one of those. That's another option. Oh, wow. I'm curious to see what the menu lineup is for those. I bet it was not cheap to get a 2024 pack halal case. Yeah, I would love to get a whole case of them too. I know some of the menus may be repeats. I don't know how many menus there actually are since they're not numbered. And my question is still hanging out there. Why does Sapaco never put a hot drink option in the halal MREs? It's not like it's not halal or permissible. There's nothing in the Islamic dietary rules that say you cannot have coffee or tea or cocoa with your meal, because after all, they are plant-based drinks. Now, in certain Jewish rules, you do not have dairy with meat in the same meal. But the kosher rations that I've had, they had the ones that My Own Meals used to make it, and then La Brioute, you get a hot drink option in those. There's Shadow Scout Suite in the house. Sorry, I ate everything. This is the vegetarian menu, although this doesn't say vegetarian on it. This is packed in 2024. This is in the case B that I got from Waffles earlier this year. Waffles, if you got to kick out and go to bed, you go ahead. I wouldn't be surprised if Dave has done that. This one was actually not bad. It had a good flavor to it. I definitely tasted the cumin and almost a chili-like spice. The rice is soft as usual. But the green and bell peppers almost get lost in it. But they were definitely there. The corn still had a bit of firmness, so did the beans. And it was thick, it was not soupy. And I was actually surprised about that. I had a honey mustard pretzel nuggets, which I thought was kind of an odd thing to pair with this. Had the cranberry raspberry first strike bar, which is my favorite of the 4 flavors. The chocolate hazelnut protein shake was in my drinking jar. Crackers, peanut butter, and this one actually had coffee. I did not have to go to my plan B. Yeah, you might want to go hit the sack waffles. I'm probably going to be closing this one down fairly soon anyway. But I'll hang on for a little bit longer. But this one had that picante seasoning. Which is kind of like a powdered hot sauce, but with a few other ingredients added. I did not open this because I wanted to eat that rice and beans on its own. Now, this one did not have the textured vegetable protein, which I was actually surprised it didn't have that in there. But that's probably why the protein shake was added and why the peanut butter was added, to bring up the protein level in it. Yeah. I'll go get some sleep waffles, catch you in another time. Pumpkin is sleeping like a lazy cat. Lately, she's been sleeping on top of my towel stack in the bathroom. Probably because it's warmer there in my bedroom because I still have my windows cracked. I did shut my tower fan off this morning. I had that running for a couple of days. But I still have my bedroom window cracked open a bit and my sliders cracked open a bit. I'll probably close them up before I go to bed. Last week I opened up one of the older Canadian rations that I had. It was still 22 pack, but it was older in the sense that I've had it longer. So I'll go with a few U.S. MREs for a few weeks before I get into any of the other Canadian rations, but I could also go for one of those two that I got from Sean Hack, the seafood chowder MCW, or the long range patrol with the chicken. And for either of those, I may bring out the Tupperware tray. Although for the seafood chowder, I'll put that in a bowl. Since that is supposed to be more soup-like than the other one. But Yeah, I may bring that Tupperware tray out for either of those. Some people did not like the seafood chowder. If they're not big into seafood, they probably wouldn't, but I really enjoy it. And Sean Hack had one that he wanted to let go, so I said, I'll buy it from you, so I did. And I bought that LRP off of him as well, so yeah, LRP is a tan bag. Those rations aren't made anymore, but Mountain House made the entrees for those, so you know those have to be good. So I'm definitely looking forward to opening that one. I've had the seafood chowder before. I like it, and I'm happy to get it again. I just had a swig of my water straight from the bottle. So those are some things I'm considering for the next few weeks. Of course, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, I will obviously go live. And I'll keep doing the weekly lives up until Ramadan starts in February of next year. In fact, I will be live on my birthday in January. For that one, I might get into my loose components and throw a meal together out of those. In fact, I got a package of those on the way. The seller had an issue with the first package. But she happened to have a bunch of loose items that were similar to what was in the listing. So she packed all those up, and this time there's a tracking number. So I should get that within the next 2 to 3 days. And there may be another surprise. I know something is coming. I just don't know what it is yet. And when I do get that, that's when I will reveal who sent it. And who knows, maybe I might get those both in the same day. But if I get them on separate days, I still might wait till I get the second one and then just do a double mail call opening both of those packages in one video. Then again, I could do separate ones. I don't know. I just probably depends on the size of the packages. One might be a little smaller. I'm not sure. But I'll find out when I get them both. But I also want to do that MRE mayonnaise comparison. The regular mayonnaise and the fat-free. And I have a packet of tortillas that are just plain, no writing on it at all other than the pack date. The date code on there, that's it. I don't know what happened there, if that was just an oops on the part of the company that packed those tortillas, or if that was on purpose. But I'm going to use those tortillas for that mayonnaise comparison. So I may do that this coming week as well. And I'll just record that. I won't do that in a live. But I'll do the same setup. Phone mounted above the table like I do for my streams. So that's how I will do that. I figure the tortilla is the best way to do that mayonnaise comparison. I think that'll be interesting. I know with other fat-free spreads and other things, there is a bit of an odd taste to that stuff that they used. At least in those particular products. I know the fat-free potato chips that I've tried, they were not good. Whatever that crap was that they used. It just didn't taste right. I know a lot of people who've also tried those things and didn't like them. Maybe that's why that crap went away. At least I hope it did. But anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. A little bit shorter than I typically run with my streams, but sometimes that's the way it is. Yeah, talking about kicking out just as Shadow goes out for his morning coffee. But then again, he's over on the other side of the pond, so it's Monday morning for him already. So he's getting ready to get his day started. I just typed that in for Shadow because I may be already offline by the time he comes back. But then I want to thank you all for checking out this new menu as of 2024. This vegetarian Mexican style rice and bean bowl. You know, so they don't put the word vegetarian on the bag, but given the title, that told me that it is indeed vegetarian. So I enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it for those who do not eat meat at all, or if there's a specific meat that you do not eat but you still want to get some protein. This one will be a good one. So yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised it was as good as this. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I hope to see you next Sunday, 7 p.m. U.S. Central. Thanks for watching and catch you on the flip side.